to enter data based on existing data or format your data, there's a great tool called Flash Fill.
Flash. I like the sound of that. It sounds fast.
It's fast and accurate. I think you're going to like it. We're on the employees sheet. You'll notice that we have last name and first name separated out, best practice, sorting and filtering purposes, but we need to combine them. Sometimes you just have to put cells together. So click in G2. Now, I suppose you could type those in, or there are functions that'll combine them, but we don't want to do that. So let me show you how to use Flash Fill. We need to combine the names. I'll let you choose. Do you want last name, first name, or first name, last name?
Let's do last name, comma, first name.
Okay, we're going to type in a sample the way we want it, and if you do this exactly the way I show you, it's going to work beautifully every time. So what I want you to do is type in Cole, comma, space, Tom. Give it the sample the way you want it to look, press enter, and then who would be next?
Gordon Ann.
Go ahead and just start typing that.
Oh, how did it know to do that?
Excel's trying to anticipate what you're going to do next and help you out. So in this case, it saw you typed in the last name, and then you started to type in G for the next last name. Excel says, I bet I know you're going with that. Went ahead and filled it in. Now it is in gray, so it's a guess. It's just asking, is this correct? And if that's what you want, press enter.
And it's exactly what I want.
Why don't you just double click between G and H to widen that column, and we'll just type in the heading full name.
This is nice. Makes me wonder what else can I use it for?
All sorts of things. Let's try a few. In this case, we combine two full cells or columns, the first name and the last name, but you can also use parts of cells. Go ahead and click in H2. We're going to create an ID here, and what we want is just the first initial, last name, no spaces.
So I typed in T. Cole, and I'm going to hit enter.
Once again, the next person would be A. Gordon, so just start typing that in.
And it's ready to populate. So I'm going to hit enter. And those are all the IDs I wanted.
Good, and you just want to glance down through there to make sure they're correct. Excel will get it right most of the time, but sometimes it's a little off, so we'll just double check. Those look pretty good to me.
It does to me as well.
So we've widened the column, added the ID heading. Let's add an email. For everyone in this company, the email address is firstname.lastname@ourcompany.com. So we'll just go to column I, and we'll type in tom.cole@ourcompany.com.
And Kathy, I think I got the hang of this. So now I'm going to type in Ann.Gordon, and it's already there. So I'm going to hit enter, and it looks good. Looks like I figured out how to use Flash Fill.
Almost. On this one, I want you to look a little more closely. Do you see a problem?
Oh, where did .gom, .wam, and .tom come from? Flash Fill is picking up the first initial of the last name and putting it after the @our-company.
It just happened that because our sample was Cole, which starts with a C, Excel thought that was the pattern that com went with Cole.
Got it. So I have to go back and fix each one manually?
No, let me show you the next step. Go back to the first incorrect one, which is Ann. Select that cell. We'll go up to the formula bar and just change the G to a C. Enter.
And now it's all fixed.
Exactly. You just had to give Excel the pattern a second time, figured out where you were going with this. Sometimes I have to give it the pattern the third time. I will give you a tip. If I have to keep showing Excel what to do past 3 or 4 times, chances are Excel's not going to figure it out. So you may have to try something else.
Good to know.
Let's try another one, but this time let's do numbers. So I want you to click in J2. You'll notice in column E we have the extension column, and that's a 4-digit number. The first 2 numbers actually represent the building that someone is in on campus. So we want to pull out that data into its own column. So in J2, we're just going to go ahead and put in Tom's building, which is 21.
So now I'm going to add 22 for Ann's building. Okay, it hasn't figured it out yet, so let me do what you do and try a third time. 25 for Mary. So it's still not figuring it out. Why is Flash Fill not working with numbers?
It will work, but not this way. There's just way too many possibilities for it to guess once we start getting into numbers. We're going to start the same way. So once again, type in the 21 for Tom, enter. But we're going to use what we call a trigger, and the shortcut trigger is Control and the letter E for echo.
Okay. Oh, and there it goes. How did it know which column I was figuring out?
Well, Same as with all the others, it just looked for the 21, and that actually happens to be the only time that number shows up in that row, so it took a pretty solid guess. But if it was the wrong one, just like we did with the email addresses, you would go to and fix it, and then it should pick up the pattern after that.
Now, what if I can't remember Control E?
That's definitely going to be one you want to commit to memory, but if you happen to forget, we're going to go to the Data tab, and when you click on Data, down in the Data Tools group, there is a button for Flash Fill. It's the one with the lightning bolt. So you would have typed in the 21, Enter, and then clicked this button. So far, everything we've done has been combining cells, splitting cells, maybe adding text like we did with the email. You can also use Flash Fill for formatting. Have you ever imported data and it comes in with some strange formatting, maybe all caps or something like that?
Yes, it happens all the time.
Now, you can use functions to fix that, but you can also use Flash Fill. So let me show you how that works. Let's just go to the next column over, and for our purposes, let's say we want to put something in all caps. Let's just use the last name. So just type in Cole in all caps and enter. And in this case, even though it's text, you could still use that Control E trigger. Let's just use that here.
Well, that's a fast way to format.
It'll work with any of your text cells. It'll also work with number cells. So we triggered Flash Fill just by typing in the sample, by using Control E. I showed you where it is on the Data tab on the ribbon. And then let's delete the data that we have here. Let's try it one more time, and we're going to use the autofill button. So we'll just do the same thing you did a minute ago. We'll just click in K2. We'll type in Cole in all caps. Go ahead and click on that cell. Let's just get that fill handle in the lower right-hand corner. Just double-click there. And then you have that little autofill options icon showing. Click there. And of course, the copy is the default, but you'll notice you do have a Flash Fill option there.
Ah, I like that.
So lots of choices on how to use Flash Fill. I want to show you one more thing. Go over to column M, and let's just put the first name in all caps, because we know that works. We know it's easy.
So I'll type in Tom in all caps, hit Enter, and now Control E. So I have an error message, but we were just doing this before, so I know it could work.
Take a look at what the message says. It says, we looked at all the data next to your selection and didn't see a pattern. So it could be that Excel can't find a pattern. It's possible that it has no idea what you want to do. But like you said, that's not the case here. So instead, notice the key word there, the data next to your selection. Remember in Excel that a blank row or column separates data. So if you want it to look at the data nearby, it has to be within the data range. It doesn't have to be at the end like we're adding it, but it has to be inside the existing data set, and then it'll work.
So if I move Tom to column L and hit Control E, it would have worked seamlessly.
Exactly.
So when I need to combine or format cells based on existing data, you can bet I'll use Flash Fill.